Hey everybody, welcome to Critters in Taiwan, a D&D podcast about Critical Role, where a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm Ben in Kaohsiung.
I'm Tim in Taichung.
And we are Critters in Taiwan. We're sitting around, two of them, hopefully there's more. We're sitting around tonight talking about Campaign 3. We're going to be talking about a lot of different stuff, but mostly Campaign 3, episode number 17, Heart-to-Heartmoor.
Heart-to-Heartmoor. Nice name.
Yeah, really sweet name. Real sweet name. I guess it's because Imogen named her horse Heart. That was my initial thought. It seems a little. There was only mentioned once. She only said
a lot of
heart
to hearts in there. I mean,
oh, look at you being all clever and shit. They're right.
I didn't do shit, buddy.
I never even made that connection. Look at you. Right. There were
so this horse is going to Heartmoor. Oh yeah, totally. That's it. No, yeah. Ben, get with it.
I'm not even joking. Like I didn't make that connection. That's awesome.
Why we do this, brother.
Nice. The heart, because there were so many heart to hearts in this one. The whole fucking second half was all heart to hearts.
Yeah.
I guess I don't have enough conversations with real people.
Maybe your heart's just getting too small, buddy.
Grinching it up over here.
Touch, we can grow that thing back to normal size.
Now I just feel sad.
House cleaning.
House cleaning, yeah, sure.
Spoilers, yeah.
Spoilers. We spoil everything. If you're not caught up to date with Campaign 1, Campaign 2, Campaign 3, EXU, one-shots, and everything else CR related, get out of here.
Get out of here. What are you doing?
Get out of here.
Stop watching this first. That's the stupidest thing you can do.
Yeah. We're going to talk about everything. We're also going to have some language, mostly English, some Marquesian. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah. We're going to talk about everything. We're going to discuss some things. We're going to ask some questions. If you out there, if you have some questions, hey, get in touch with us. We're easy to find. Email or Discord or stuff. Yeah, there'll be links down below. Yep. Check it out.
Check any of our videos. We got all the links there. And the hashtags.
Yeah, if you got questions, if you want to be part of the conversation, please be part of the conversation.
We get tired of each other pretty quick, so join us.
Yeah.
Okay, want to launch into the rollies?
Hey, let's do rollies.
Okay, here we go. Of course, I'm going to beat you like I always do.
All right, you're on a bit of a tear. I'm going to take you down one of these days, or maybe I'm going to switch up dice. I don't know.
It's the Matt Mojo, man.
It is the Matt Mojo. All right.
Ooh, starting off with a 9.
Starting off with a 1. Natural. One.
Come on, I roll low for once.
All right. Throw that one away.
Since we were just on it, first point is that whole second half. I guess I'm going to call them halves instead of second parts. But it doesn't matter how long they are. It's the second half. The note is simply who's on watch. Now, they haven't done in all the campaigns a whole lot of, at least not that I remember, but these long travels, right? And a lot of times they'll be like, they know that they want to talk to somebody or something just happened or something, and they're just like, I've been wanting to say something like this. This is a good time to do it. This time they had how many in a row? How many, because they just did like the watch and then the what'd they do? Because they had the night's watch, where they had their conversations. And then they just, then the random rollies to see what happened on the journeys. How many fucking days did they do? They didn't do all 8.
They did 4. They did 4 days. Yeah.
Out of 8? Why is 8 in my head? Because
it's there and back.
Okay. So they did the whole 4 to get to Heartmoor.
They right, and they're right at the Heartmoor when they finish the episode. Okay. So this was something that really surprised me, that they really truncated everything. Matt was like, okay, we're gonna just say, unless anybody wants to do anything, we're just gonna say roll for random encounter. The random encounter happens, and it's like, okay, and now you get to your campsite, roll for a survival check or nature check or whatever to see who finds a good campsite, and then start taking watch, make a perception check, blah blah blah. Okay, next day, and I was like, wow, this is really going quickly.
Yeah,
very quickly.
My question for that, like, who's on watch is like, did they just? It seemed like it was planned out. Like they had. Maybe they talked about it before. Like, we're going to have a lot of watches pretty fast here. Like, or did they know that they would be on the way to Heartmoor at the end of this episode? I don't know. But their choices that they made, they all seem to have a bit of role play that was important.
Yeah. It felt that way to me too. It felt like they had talked about this. They're like, hey, we're going to have, this is off camera. We're going to have 4 days. I think Matt is probably the one that said this. Hey, we're going to do 4 days. We're going to let you guys want to do all 4 days on the second half of this episode. And he was probably, they're probably like, yeah, or maybe even set it a break. We're going to, do you guys want to get them all done? If so, then we're going to do it this way. And this is the way to do it. And they probably all just said, yeah, let's do it that way. And then I kind of dig the format. I kind of like it. I mean,
fast-paced, entertaining. Like
it was
great.
Fast-paced and entertaining. Exactly. The random encounters were good. They were nice and simple. They were weird.
They were pretty lucky. Yeah, and strange.
He seemed to say that they were pretty lucky, but honestly, it felt like they were. It's one of those. This is one of those DM tricks that I'm slowly learning about. Is that you should. There's really not a whole lot that's random in these overland adventures, and if you are doing them random, which I doubt he is doing, I could be completely wrong, but these would be planned already, because on those random tables, there are some really, really mean stuff. And I don't think you want to throw mean stuff at the party all the time. I think you want them to be kind of whimsical. So I feel like he's already got these things planned out and he knows. Also because like it's a little bit too hard on the fly. When I'm doing it in my home game, I don't mind doing a couple of random. I have a random table that I roll on when they're traveling, and I've picked 3 that I want for this part of the journey, and I just have them roll a dice, and then they choose out of those 3 instead of out of the 20, because the D20 would determine what it would be or whatever. So yeah. I think Matt's chosen a couple, and then he's like, okay, roll the dice and roll the D6. And then he rolled a 1, and that's what the dice, Taliesin rolled the 1, and that's what it was. It was the fucking 4-foot timber rabbit. Bizarre, with the little gem in its mouth. Strange one. Strange one.
Seems like a lucky roll, and rolling a D6 that just like, I infer that there would be 6 options or 3. Maybe there's 2, and that you could choose any die for it.
Yes, exactly. It's to give some illusion, I think, of chance, but I have a sneaky feeling that, and hey, again, we could be completely wrong. Matt could have a list of 20 fucking encounters and he just knows all of them, and it doesn't really matter thematically. It's just like because I mean, we play D&D long enough, you know all the encounters, you know them all. You're like, oh, it's a bear trap. Oh, it's a rabbit. Oh, it's a lightning struck tree. Oh, it's a chimera. It's like a triceratops runs by. When you play long enough, you know the actions of these creatures anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I think for a live streaming TV show or live streaming Twitch show, then it's got to be a little bit more control than that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too. I have my sneaking suspicions that it's a little more guided, not railroaded, but like
no,
a little bit more like the.
Yeah,
I know Matthew did a thing once. It was something just the math guy in me, like when they say like they were at level 10 or something like that, and they're like, all right, roll the first percentile, and it's like, well, you could just roll a D20. If you get a 1 or 2, or just a 1, then
well, dice. I know. Dice work. They're all random anyway. It's just the odds change slightly based on what dice it is.
Yeah. So it's like you roll the first one. It's like, oh, it's an 8, and the second one, like, dude, it's an 80 something. Don't worry. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. That's right.
Still call them out. Like, and the second one, well, it's an 84.
Well, that's why, like,
doesn't matter.
In the dice, that's why those 2 dice come together like that. It got brought up at my table on Sunday, actually, when one of the girls was like, why what is this dice, what does this mean, why does it have 2 numbers on it? It was the percentile dice, and I'm like, right, this one tells you the 10 digits and this one tells you the 1. And she's like, but you could just roll this one twice, right? I'm like, of course you can. But the idea, the fact of rolling 2 dice does change the odds. Like if rolling 2 dice instead of the same dice twice, it does change the odds up a little bit. So
if you're adding them together, it's if you're adding them, like if you get the total number out of it.
Right, exactly. And I don't know. I'm terrible with statistics. I know that I have a base understanding of how it works, but like a D20, the odds of rolling the same number twice in a row is ridiculous. And 3 times in a row is even more ridiculous. And I've seen it happen. It happened actually at this table, the table over to my right here, the one that you sat down and played with. My buddy, Dan Dalio, he rolled, rest in peace. He rolled 3 natural 20s in a row. in front of all of us. He rolled a 20 and then a 20 and then another 20. We all watched it, and it was the odds of that happening. I don't remember. Somebody comment. It's like one in a few 100,000. It's insanely insane, and I've never seen it before, and I don't think I'll ever see it again.
The crazy odds comes from calling it. If you do it three times in a row, it's just like flipping a coin. It's 50%. It's going to be the one or the other. But if you call three heads in a row, then it's two sides to the nth power. So it's 2 to the 3. It's 1 and 8. Yeah. So
and this is on a D20 when it's 1
to have a 20 up to the 20th. To call it, I'm going to roll 3 D20s. I'm going to roll 3 natural 20s in a row, or 3 any number in a row. Those numbers go through the fucking roof.
That's through the roof. It's like it's in the millions, I think. I don't remember the numbers.
Yeah, it's a 5% chance each roll, but to do it or to call it 3 times in a row, that's when the fucking goes nuts. Again. Yeah.
Absolutely. So the odds are huge.
We had a stats class on that one. They're like, what about 10 heads in a row? What's the chances? Well, 50. It's like, think about all the coin flips in the world and say which ones are going to be head. Fuck off. You can't do that. The odds
you can't do that.
Against you.
That's the difference. That's right. Anyway, a little tangent there, but it felt like a lot of that travel, a lot of that. No kidding. Tangents in Taiwan, or critters in tangents, tangential critters. I don't know, whatever. I really liked it. I really liked the way that they did the thing, and I mean, it gave, like you said, it was fast paced. It gave us a lot to think about, and there were those heart to hearts with the big reveals.
Hey, look at
this
you
episode
coming
was full of them. Now it's on my mind. I'm never going to forget it. I can't believe I missed that. Like I'm staring at the title right now. I did not make that connection. I instantly went with where her horse is named Heart, so her horse going to the Heartmoor.
See, I didn't make that connection. I was like, oh, hey, good secondary connection, Ben.
Derp. Yeah.
So what you got then?
Okay,
well, hearts, perhaps.
Yeah, no. I think
there, but
I think if we're gonna talk about like the stuff, I just want to give. I'm gonna just do a little one here. This was their 7th anniversary show, and this was kind of a big deal. They had the whole set up. With the garlands and all the flowers and all of that stuff. And at the break, when they finally, after 16 and a half episodes, left the city, and Matt changed the lights to green with all the garlands and all the flowers and all that stuff out there. And then you could just hear it in the background, the birds chirping and the insects buzzing, the reaction of the cast, of them all looking around, watching each other. So look at oh God, I can't believe this. And they were all like, it was the pure joy of little children at Christmas. It was just, it really warmed my heart.
Yeah.
But also then later on, what even got me even more was, like, I think Liam commented on it because I noticed it right away also, where there were the windows with those fucking stars at nighttime. There were plants outside the windows. There were little plants silhouetted outside the windows of their little Tavern of Tales. I really enjoyed that. The rain effect, the light rain, and then the heavy rain.
Yeah, they had two different kinds of rains, or I think
2 different kinds of
Mauritius
rain.
had 3 different types of rain or something per.
Yeah. There was the light rain, the misting rain, the light rain, and the heavy rain. The way it was blowing, and the lightning and the thunder effects as well. Yeah. Just beautiful.
Imagine what a
beautiful set. What a beautiful set. I mean, I know there are some people out there who, and I'm included. Like, I do like the simplicity of a simple sitting around a table with a whiteboard or with markers,
sitting
or with
around playing Dungeons and Dragons,
sitting around playing Dungeons and Dragons and all that. But it is really neat to watch where it can go. There's that idea that, well, now everybody has to have this. And if you're going to have a podcast, or if you're going to have a live streaming show, this is now the bar. Everybody must do this. No, that's not what it's about. I watched Dimension 20. I watched the other podcasts and the others, the live streaming shows. It's like Dice Camera Action. I mean, I watch all these shows. They're great. They're great for what they do. Also, it's not a competition. It's just everything is it's all wonderful. I love it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all.
Yeah,
that's my point.
Speaking of which, I believe it must have been this episode where I was thinking, like, when you make when you star in a sitcom or something like that, what you see and what you're experiencing is totally different from what the producers come out with, right?
Yeah.
When you're sitting at this table, you see the technology, the cameras, the microphones, and the lighting effects. So they'll see like a movement up there of some piece of technology. I'm just guessing, and they'll be like, oh, oh, cool. And it's totally
Hmm.
not the experience that we're having. They're in it. They're
Right.
like, oh
Right.
shit, it's us,
Hmm.
dude. You know, when
I
you're on a
I
stage, what
used
you see is not what they get, you know? It's
absolutely,
totally
absolutely,
different. So
totally,
like it's
totally.
hard. It's fun to try to put yourself in their shoes to be like,
Hmm.
well, I've been on a stage before, you know, like with music and
Hmm.
stuff. But you know, so like I've been on that side, but man, it's got to be so exciting for them because like a good
Hmm.
show with good lighting and good sounds. Whew, whew, whew,
Hmm.
whew. I just can't
Yeah,
wait
it's
to see the
really
footage, you know, to
it's
see what they saw, you know.
I'd love to get some. I'd love to do that. I think I've seen people requesting that they'd like more behind the scenes stuff of what they're doing, because now what they're doing at their own little place. Like I'd love to see their back room. I'd love to see where they sit and just hang out and
That'd
chill.
be great.
I he's given us a couple of little Twitter shows of Twitter clips or clips
Oh,
on Twitter of his back room, of where his all the minis and the maps and the models and everything are. And
oh,
it's
I
a
see.
it's
That's
very
cool.
cool.
You know,
It's
I'd love
super
to see
cool.
that.
I love behind the scenes stuff. I mean, I'd love to see, oh, this is where he makes things happen. Like this is where he builds the sets. This is where, he does that. I like to see where they're chilling out and just hanging out. And I mean, listen, there's privacy issues as well, and I get it. I mean, maybe they will never share it, and that's really fine. But you guys are celebrities now. Everybody wants a piece of you, so yeah, that's what
Yeah,
happens.
I only show pictures of my place when I've cleaned it. I mean, you know, come on.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, as we should. Hey, rollies,
Yeah, sure, let's do it.
let's do it.
I'm gonna win again, dude. And it's just how it works. Is that a 12? That's a 12.
We have 3.
God damn, dude.
I
I
might
mean,
I might need to retire this poor dice.
is that the same one as last time?
It's the same one I've been using for a few now. Yeah.
The universe, it'll come around, man. I'm gonna start
Yeah. All
rolling
right.
below 10.
All right.
All
It's
right,
all
well,
good. You go.
I'm gonna get a quick one here. I did finish the fucking the one shot, the Elden Ring.
Oh, the Elden Ring one shot. Yeah, nice.
That was hilarious, dude. What you
Yeah,
were
it was
talking
so.
about, that
I did
whatever
the three
t-shirt that was,
the
I
three
didn't. I'm
horse
gonna.
stack. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Holy fuck, I was in stitches. It was
No,
hilarious, dude.
the one shot was fun. The one shot was a lot of fun, but that moment had them in
It was
tears,
for a
and
while.
it was yeah, it was a long moment. It was really long. It was one of those ridiculous. They were fully embracing the video gameness of their one
Right.
shot. It was so good, so
It
good.
was amazing. Like when they finally got through it, spoiler alert, where Marisha's like, I'm on the horse and
Yeah.
and Matthew's sitting there, he's like, okay. And she's like, oh, and he's like, and they wait for a second, he's like,
Mhm.
they're stacked. Fuck it. They're
Yeah.
stacked.
Yeah, why not?
Just-
Because why the hell not? Let's have some fun.
Yeah. It's a one shot. Let's go. Let's
Mhm,
not get too
mhm.
deep into this. Let's just let it
Nah.
happen.
Exactly.
You know, to
This
try
is
to
when
tie the game with the D&D setting, you know, it's like, hey, if you've got 2 of those
absolutely.
things, fuck, I guess that's
Mhm.
how it's working today. Fuck
Then
it.
why not? Let's stack them right up to the fucking moon. Why the hell
Yeah.
not? Right? Let's just stack and stack and stack.
It was
It's just
hilarious.
it gets
So
weird.
good.
It's when it's one of those things. Rule of cool wins in that situation
Yeah.
with a one shot, and it's a complete one off. It'll probably never be done again. They homebrewed the rule set for it. Let it go. Just let them
Yeah.
have their fun. Let everybody have their fun.
What was the guy's name you were talking about? He was in the top right. Is that I'm guessing that's who you're
Brennan
talking
Lee,
to about?
Yeah, Brennan Lee Mulligan.
He was phenomenal. This isn't
Yeah.
even I haven't even said
Yeah.
my point yet, but
Yeah,
that guy
yeah,
was
yeah.
so good.
I
That guy
know,
was
I know.
so comfortable. Where's he what's he do? How does
He's
he
Dimension. He's the DM for Dimension 20.
Okay.
He's a rising rock star. He's in
seems like it.
rising rock star
Fuck, he was
in the D&D
comfortable.
world. Yeah. He does DM tips, which I watch quite frequently, which is a YouTube thing. He's on a bunch of different shows, and he's been part of D&D Beyond for a while. Sorry, not D&D Beyond. He's been or maybe he is on D&D Beyond. He's definitely part of WotC. He's definitely a regular guest on Dungeons and Dragons, like the WotC stuff that they publish on YouTube and Twitch and that. He's been around for ages, and really starting to come into his own now. Dimension
Good to
20 is
see.
a really, really, really good show. It's really fun to watch. It's another great one. Yeah.
Oops. My that was enough of a point. I could have done that one instead. The point I have is it's something that it's about Matthew. Matthew, this is criticism. I know you're watching, so take this,
Mhm,
you know, and listen, take heed is what I mean to say. I need him to stop saying you at the table. I'm walking from here to practice and I'm listening to a podcast and he says you and you make a perception
Ah,
check. I'm like,
ah.
Matthew, come on. Some of us
Mm-hmm,
can't watch
mm-hmm,
all the time, I'm crossing
mm-hmm,
streets, I'm paying money to get cigarettes at a goddamn 7-Eleven. I can't always be saying you and you who, and then they
mm-hmm.
roll and you figure it out pretty soon. But then
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
he'll go through a thing and be like, you would notice and you make a deception roll or a perception roll.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who it is. And he's
Okay.
doing it in maybe in this one shot he forgot their names. I don't think that's true at all. But Matthew, you can get in touch if
Yeah,
if we're full of shit.
I've noticed. I was commenting. I kind of made a mental note that same thing. I'm like, because at one point he did it a few times this episode. He was like, you, and five people turned and looked at him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was watching it, and I still didn't know who he was talking to because he's like, you, and Sam and whoever looked over. And then they all sort of went, and they all went, and then they all reached, and they all looked, and I was like, who the fuck is he even talking to? Is it Marisha, or is it Sam, or is it Travis? What's happening here?
They're kind of like this, right? It's like there's four people here,
they're in that,
people here,
yes.
and then Matt's down here.
The three-sided table, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
so the table's got three sides.
Looks like a ballista, right?
Kind of like an arrowhead, yeah. And he was literally, and the way that's set up on the screen, right? So it's two rows and then him. So like people look over and they all look over and then they look at him and like, I didn't even know who it was. You're right. It was a little weird, but whatever. It's small moments.
Fine, you figure it out pretty quickly, depending on who responds or whatever. But But he'll say, like in battle, that's when it's like, all right, and he's usually pretty good in battle because he'll say like Imogen, Laudna, and FCG, you're just outside, but you two, you need to make a roll. But if he says like, I need you, and you, make a Constitution saving throw, and then like if three of them are doing it, three of them are talking at the same time, and I'm pretty in tune with their voices, but sometimes I don't know who's doing it, and I can get my phone out, I guess, but I don't want to.
There was. This one too, there was a lot of crosstalk on the table. So there was there was a ton of conversations happening at the table through the whole episode. They were during, well, not spoilers, whatever, but during a couple of those big reveals, there was Travis and Taliesin and Marisha were like back and forth for the whole thing, just whispering and not even really whispering, like actually just full on talking and other things, and other people get drowned out. And I mean, it's all part of it being the immersive experience. I love it all. I'm not complaining. It's just part of it.
They have like sniper mics on them, don't they? Like hypercardioid, because you don't really see the mics. But
the mics are all up. Except for the only one that's down is Matt's, and it comes over from the side. It's on a boom,
and
it sits like right in front of him.
Every time he turns this way, it's a little.
He's always hitting it and bumping it and whatever. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So I guess that's then.
That's all. Matthew, I know you're watching, so get in touch and
for sure.
And tell me that you're gonna fix it.
I'm going to go back to last week and this week. I'm going to tie one together, something we didn't talk about last week, which was, and I realized this after our conversation was over. It's the FCG's glitching. He started the episode glitching, or he started glitching in last week's episode. And it was a very noticeable thing. Everyone was very concerned about it. We didn't actually have a conversation about it, but then this one,
and then I
Sam was brilliantly reflecting that there was something wrong with FCG. It was glorious little bit of acting. A slight little nuance, right? Very subtle, very good, really good. Because those sorts of things would be real. And the scripted, yeah.
I don't know what keeps us gripped.
Oh, I thought you were saying it was from the script. Yeah. It does. It's very gripping. And then I loved it. So my point is, we don't know what it is. We're getting a better understanding of it right now, but we still don't know exactly what's going on with his homebrew race, the automaton. We don't really know much about his homebrew class, which I think is definitely tied into the glitching. I think it's a combination of class and race. And I just my comment is he was better after the long rest that went away when he came out of stasis mode. He was better, and he stated that he's like, no, I feel better. I feel much better. Still seemed a little bit off. It's hard to tell if Sam's little, whatever. But then when they went, so then when they split the party and they went everywhere getting ready to leave the city, and FCG, Ashton, and Orem were Team Milo, and they strapped FCG down on the workbench.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And Milo was like, okay, it seems like it's some sort of pent up energy in all over your body. Maybe an arcane feedback loop. Maybe some sort of something, like he was giving examples of other items and things that he's worked on and repaired and all of that. And I think the idea that I have is that's not it. My thought is that that's a placebo. That's a little Band-Aid for right now to make them sort of feel better. I think there is definitely way more to it, and Sam is not going to let that reveal happen until much, much later. Yeah. And I think that's really cool. I think it's really neat to have that little. Here, Milo can fix it, but Sam knows Milo can't. Matt knows Milo can't, but they still play it off.
Does that FCG yes, he know?
Can. No, I don't think so.
I think so. I think not. I also.
Yeah, I think that FCG is not aware. I think that the automaton, that whole idea that he was, remember when Imogen tried to do the detect thoughts on him and dig in and probe in real deep and couldn't find anything, and like
this
hit a
episode
wall?
Or the first time?
No, like a couple of episodes ago, or last one, or the one before.
Yeah, I remember it was like
digging in,
it was a little
and like
choppy or something. It was like
there was no
sort
thoughts.
It was like yeah.
You've hit this wall and you can't dig any deeper. There is nothing there. It was just empty.
Yeah.
I think that's an answer for that FCG doesn't know. That really what it's about is about Matt, and because Matt clearly knows, he has to know, and Sam has to know, and they do both know, and they're letting the long game play. And I'm in full slow clap. I dig it. I love it. I love stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah. That's all. That's my. I think it's one of those things, because it struck me as really. It struck me as really important. That because there were like 3 really big reveals in this episode, and for 3 characters, and FCG or Sam is still holding on to his. Ashton is firmly holding on to his. He's not letting anything go.
Yep.
And
yeah, it's just but he might be lying.
Totally. Like I wouldn't put it past Allison to be just lying out of his teeth for this one.
And he was talking to Fern, and Fern didn't check him. No.
Nope.
He was just like, started turning about this time. She's like, oh, really? Okay. Can I touch sometime? I'm going to try to steal it. This game's still on. I just love doing her impression. But yeah, he could just be lying and nobody checked him. And
totally.
I would like to see Taliesin after that conversation to be like, she didn't check. Okay. But yeah, like the 3 reveals. I mean,
should we just let's roll for them?
Okay. I've got 2. How many do you have?
3.
Okay. Because I've got let's roll.
Sure.
I'm gonna win again with an 11.
Jesus Christ,
really?
5.
It's because I keep saying it, dude. I'm cheating over here. I mean, I'm not cheating. I'll show you. It's an 11. See?
I buy you.
11 is one of the sides of my die that I just rolled. Well, I'm going to go into, I didn't expect Laudna to say that much. I thought that maybe it was a TMI, but not in a terrible way. But I was like, really, bro? Like who, big ass spoiler, maybe here for campaign 1 and 3. She wasn't Keyleth. The person
no, 100%. I was 100% not.
I know that she wasn't Keyleth. No. Like Laud does not Keyleth.
Was not Keyleth. Because she was not Pike, because that was a child. Yeah, because Keyleth had the antlers, and she would have. The antlers. It was 100% Vex.
How do you mean 100%? What do you mean? How do you
because it doesn't make sense that it would be Keyleth. Well, it doesn't make sense to be Keyleth. Red hair, first off. Yes, half elf, and the elf, but it's mostly the hair, but it's also the antlers, and those 2 put together, it's 100%. not Keyleth. It was 100% Vex.
Yeah.
End of story.
I couldn't help but think that, way back in episode fucking 3 or whatever, she was like, "Oh yeah, Delilah Briarwood," and then Matthew had that quick on stream talk with her. It was like, "You're saying too much." I'm like, "Matthew, are you talking to her right now?" She didn't bring it up for a long time, or maybe it's fine. Right. I don't know. Sometimes we don't know. Marisha, we know you're watching, so get in touch and let us know. She released a lot of shit there.
A ton.
I was sitting there like, I watched it the second time, and I watched different people, but like, also them doing it.
I did a U on that one as well. I pulled the same thing. I went back, I rewound it for each separate person sitting at the table.
Me, I thought you meant like a U, like I flipped a bitch.
No. I did what you always do, and that's rewind it and watch their individual reactions. For this one,
or 7 times.
I did for 7 times for each person I watched. I did a couple more times too, just to get sort of a secondary feel for it all. But yeah, I rewound each time to get their individual reactions. And the one that got me the most, two of them got me the most. Number one was Sam already knew. The look on Sam's face was, I know. He was smiling, and he was not shocked. He was not surprised.
Like, yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe, okay, sure, maybe that. But the look on his face was not of shock and not of surprise. But the one that got me the most was Matt. His sly little half smile that just sort of like, yeah, there it is. There it is.
Well, it's good that he's smiling about it, because I wasn't watching that part, and I'm like, is she TMIing right now? Like, is it too much too early?
No, and
it's fine.
I have a really big point on this one. It's a big point. It's a big picture point. Again, I'm sorry if I keep doing this. Don't
forget it. It's like a string around my finger.
Sure. It's this. I'm sorry if I keep doing this over and over again, but bringing it back to my table game that I'm running, one of the things that they talk about in the book is how to convince the players that they're supposed to be doing this, and they give a whole bunch of tips on how to do that. And the Reddit community and is full of it as well, of have tips of things to do. This is how you convince your players that they should be here. And the underlying thread is fate, that they are heroes, and that there are gods and there are dark powers and there are forces at work that are bringing them together because they are supposed to be brought together. And this is the point. Dungeons and Dragons is not real. It's fantasy. It's high fantasy sometimes.
I love Final Fantasy series, and it's a game. Yeah, I'm an atheist, but the games make it cool that gods are there, and like
absolutely.
Fate exists,
so this is
touched and
this is all fate. It's bringing the heroes together. And the reason why, in my mind, that Laudna is part of this and telling her story is because she is supposed to be part of this and telling her story and continuing this little sliver of the story of Vox Machina. That's part of her fate. It's all part and parcel, and it's all the web and the weave of destiny, in Exandria, in this universe that Matt Mercer has created, and that's all part of it. And so I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, wow, that's a lot. And people, then I was like, initially I was like, is it too much to be bringing campaign 1 in like that? Is it too much to be bringing these? I'm like, no, it isn't, because it all makes sense. These were giant events. Yeah, absolutely.
It was prompted by somebody else out of her control.
Right, right. Well, I mean, not even that thing, like letting all of this information out at the campfire to Orem. I mean, like big picture, like, is it too much that Laudna was one of the bodies hung, the Vox Machina.
If I'm going to spoil, I'm going to spoil it.
Warning symbols. What do we call
folks they put up on the tree to fucking
from the sun tree,
send a message,
right? To send the message. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. Send a message to Vox Machina as they approach. My initial thought was, I don't know if I like this, because I'm of the feeling like a new campaign, new everything. It's all fresh, it's all new and all that. But I started realizing, I'm like, no, there's more to it than that. This is a big picture thing. Fate is important. The gods are watching. The gods are paying attention, and they do have a role to play here. And this is all part of the whole destiny and fate thing. I think it's important. I think things like this are important. I think they do have a place.
Do we know
So
how
not
many of
with
them have a patron, like a god,
there's
like a
only one,
deity patron?
only one, only her.
Just Laudna, and it's not even a
Yep.
deity, as far as we know.
Orym is part of the Arashari, so they are druids. They do not have they worship nature. Ashton is a Earth Genasi, again very similar to that, worships sort of nature stuff. His magical stuff comes from nature. Imogen is a sorcerer, so that's innate magic. FCG is an automaton, and
We don't know.
all bets are off on that one, man. No fucking clue.
Yeah.
Chetney is a blood hunter, so it's blood magic, lycanthrope blood magic. And Fern is a druid, so it's
Fey druid at that.
It's Fey druid, so it's all shit. It's nature, Feywild magic. So yeah, no, there aren't a lot. Only Laudna has the
God, was that everybody?
the patron. Yep.
Fuck, I felt like that was only like 5. That was 7, huh?
That's all 7 of them. Yeah.
Jeez.
And then I mean, if we throw the 8th in there, Dorian, when he was there for all those episodes, he was a bard, Air Genasi bard. So his magic is innate as well. Comes from the music, comes from just arcane. So yeah, there's not a lot of there's no traveler, no earth wild mother in this one. It's very much just them.
Yeah. Going off of this thing that I wrote down, the stringer on my finger, in response to the slow side smile that Matthew had. One of the things that also made my jaw drop when Laudna was talking was, and I think it was Marisha talking in character, where like Orym was saying, you're like the happiest one of us,
this was
and
the big
very
one.
strong thing she said after that. She's like, of course, because the worst thing that could happen to me has already happened. And I went back to that and pulled the phone out and I watched Matthew, and he was like, he didn't know that was coming, and he didn't know that was a part of it.
None of them did.
That was
none
Marisha.
of them did. I watched 100%.
It gave me chills.
I watched that too.
I was like, wow, that is amazing. The worst thing that's happened to you has already happened. Wow.
I turned chat on at that point. I was very judicious about chat use on my second watch of this episode after
That's
last
your new
time.
thing now.
But it's why not? So I turned chat on, and chat fucking exploded. It was like 10 minutes after she said that, people were losing their minds from that quote. I wrote it down.
Faces and a bunch of
dude. It was people were
thing to say.
100%, man. It's a of course the worst thing that's ever happened to me has already happened. It's just what a super super powerful thing to say for somebody who's been hung from a sun tree by a noose until dead, and then resurrected as a
That's kind of crazy to think about. She woke up hung from a tree. So in the animated series, we saw Laudna.
We did,
if it's the same canon.
Well, here's I wrote that. I have a point about that too. I wrote that down. Is this Laudna the live stream Laudna, which we never saw, or is this the Legend of Vox Machina Laudna, which we saw? I don't know. Who knows, right? That's
we may never know.
No, that's up to them. That's up to Marisha and Matt to figure out how they want to play that. It was good. I'm gonna throw the if you're good.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm going to throw my big reveal then, which was not as big of a reveal. I feel like that one was the Laudna's backstory reveal was the biggest one of the night.
Yeah,
but this was
I stole it. Sorry.
No, it's all good. No. I think it's important that we have different, very similar perspectives on it. Mine is about half an hour later.
I should stop rolling my dice while listening to you. Look at this.
Not a good look.
All right, I'm putting that down. Sorry.
But half an hour later, Orym and Chetney's watch. I think it's the next day. It's the same. It's right at the very end of the episode, or close to. It's Orym and Chetney's watch, and the Orym is or Chetney's checking out Orum's
Yeah,
sleeve.
that was so good.
And he's like big moon, little moon, and
Yeah.
the whole the reveal. Yeah, man, seriously, the this is personal for you because it was your husband Will that was killed when they attacked, and you know the whole dealio.
If it hits Chetney, you know it's hitting me.
Yeah. So this isn't mine, but I was like, that name means something, Will. And I went and I started doing some digging, and I was like, I don't know, I don't recognize it, I don't know what that means, but it came up, and it's a doozy, it's a real doozy. So you probably don't know this. Yeah. So Will is canon from campaign 1.
I'm watching that right now.
It's not in campaign 1. It's in the one. It's in a one shot. Dallin's closet.
No.
Yep. Yep. So the very last episode of campaign 1, the last one shot, the very finale, the Dallin's closet one shot, when they go to Marquette and they get married, Vex and Percy. So Vax is gone, right? So who did Liam play?
He played Liev Tell?
Nope. That was the Search for Bob. Search for Grog, Search for Bob.
That was another Raven Queen, no motherfucker. He played.
Yeah.
He played
a gladiator. No, he played a gladiator named Derek. Okay. And Derek was of the Arashari. He lived in Zephyra, and he was known to Keyleth.
Look at this
guy. His son,
he's Charlie Day over here.
His youngest son was Will.
Okay.
So Liam played his husband's dad, his dead husband's dad.
Sounds a little fucked up, but it's not.
It's not, and it's really, really charming. When I went back and I started looking at the details, it's like, right, he was a fighter. He had a sword and a shield. He was a battle master. He was a level 17 battle master, I think. So Orum is but he was a half elf. So you remember the big moon, little moon conversation. So Derek was a half elf, Will was a half elf, and he's a halfling. So it's like he's a little guy modeled after a big guy. It's just cute, just really cute.
Yeah,
all of it.
That was great. That was just a wonderful story. The way Travis played Chetney on that, he's like, it was good. Just like looked away because when I was listening to it, you just hear people start laughing a little bit, and I was like, "God, the fuck are they laughing about? Damn it!"
Yep.
I had to pull it out.
And then you watch that, and his look away is just great.
You heard growling? I'm like, yeah, I think it's gone though. Oh yeah, maybe it's gone.
No, it's so good, so good. So yeah, that's my thing. Just a quick little sidebar off of that. The tattoo talk with the slightly before that with the RTA on Chetney's arm. That was another moment where I rewound it to watch everyone's reaction. And Matt, his fucking grabbing his chair and hopping off screen. I'm out. Travis, get ready for your third character. Yeah. But he's like, I was already locked and loaded. I'm surprised this one lasted this long.
Respect the alpha.
Holy
oh god.
I was crying. I was laughing so hard. Not because I thought respect the alpha. I'm like, holy fuck, that's dumb. But their reactions to it, and Sam just is like, oh no. Oh God. Oh, Taliesin puts his head down on the table. I think I wrote down all of their fucking reactions.
That's like why you have so many notes, man.
Oh man, I don't even know where it is here. It's in here somewhere. God damn. I was laughing my ass off at all of their reactions. Marisha was killing herself.
When he made Imogen roll intelligence or whatever, or history or something like that. Mm-hmm. He was like, Imogen, roll one of those, intelligence or history. And he was like, okay. So, and she rolled it like an 11 or something like that. Something fairly low. And he was like, you know that this comes from a completely debunked set of, he's just out there
their alpha thing, fact, and Sam's like fact checking in real time. Yeah, that was great. Oh, that was just Matthew.
Man. That didn't matter what she rolled. He was like, know this.
He was 100% just going to tell them like, no, you don't. Travis, you don't
respect the
you
alpha.
Don't get to do that.
It was terrific.
I still have friends of mine that are dog owners that are like, no, I'm the alpha and the dog's the beta. I'm like, all right, man.
You do you, I guess.
You do you. Yeah. I'm not part of this anymore. I mean, it's been thoroughly debunked. There is no alpha in wolf packs. It doesn't exist.
If you're not sure about it,
it was false observations in the 60s, I think. And they were thoroughly like, no, it doesn't work. But it's the same thing as fucking autism in vaccinations, right? It's like, no, not proven. It's completely bunk science.
Yeah.
But once it's said, nope, we're dumb. Humans are idiots. We grab onto things and we just latch onto them and don't let go.
Yeah.
Hey,
are we back to rolls?
Let's roll.
All right.
I gotta get one.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. 18, motherfucker.
I haven't rolled over 10 yet. 8.
Now I get to choose, I suppose.
This reminds me of Marisha's dice from the past fucking week. Talking about that fucking gas can that Sam pulled out with the. Did you see his gas can this week?
My phone's too small. I heard it was something.
Dude,
the reaction was really cute.
Oh, it was so adorable. Okay, do you want me to leave it alone?
Go ahead.
Okay, because like I'm rolling shit. I rolled a 1, a 3, a 5, and now an 8. So it was a tiny little, you probably couldn't even see it on your phone if you wanted to.
Not at all.
Tiny little speech bubble that was half the gas can. And I wrote it down. It was a little speech bubble. So Marisha and Sam sit right beside each other. So he's holding the gas can and the speech bubble is pointing towards Marisha's dice tray.
Yeah.
And it says, Marisha, we're sorry we suck. We promise to roll better. Please don't give up on us. Just fucking adorable.
What if she didn't roll shitty? Then he would just abandon the whole thing, or maybe he had something else he could tack on or something. But yeah, that might be a regular thing for us actually. It'd be like, what was Sam's drink gag? Because I can't see it from my phone, and there's a chance, a lazy girl.
Say hi, lazy.
There's a chance that I'll watch it on my iPad between when we cast and when the episode comes out. But even the iPad's a little bit, tough unless it's big.
Sure.
So that's probably going to be a regular thing. So I guess I'll choose from here. I think that Ashley's RP in this episode, especially we're talking about the second half this whole fucking time, apparently.
Well, because the second half. Listen, I got on that point. The first half of this episode had me in tears. I was dying of laughter. But the second half is where all the fun was happening. All the story, all the reveals, all the reveals were in the But the first half, I was killing myself. I was laughing so hard. It was so good. Sorry, didn't mean to
remember exactly what the fuck was so hilarious. I don't think I have any points for the first half.
It was just nonsense. It was so much nonsense. For me, it started when. So I don't mean to hijack your thing here, but I wrote it down. Yeah, well, hey, what are you gonna do? I wrote this down at 55 minutes.
I love the timestamps.
Marisha says something about FCG and about his whatever, something. I didn't write it down. It was unimportant. And FCG is like, well, that's an opinion, and opinions are like opera. Sure, you can listen to them, but why would you really? I am 100% stealing that line when somebody gives me their opinion. And I started laughing at that point, and I couldn't stop for the rest of it, because then that's when Chetney wakes up and he starts screaming and yelling about missing his date with Fern.
Oh, that's right.
When all of that stuff starts happening, I couldn't stop laughing. Everything for me started with that quote from FCG, and Friday night when I was watching it, I just could not stop laughing. I was killing myself. I was laughing so hard. Man. Anyway, sorry. Your point about Fern's role playing.
Yeah, I'll get there in a second. Now that we're on this, the tangents in Taiwan. I watched the new episode, at least the first half, when I'm at the gym on Fridays. It's wonderful. Okay. I go to the gym and I put it on. I'm like, yeah, here we go, and I power through that cardio, with the new episode. And it's very quiet in the gyms in Taiwan. I've noticed there's not a lot of grunters. There's not a lot of shouters. And people are very quiet.
There's a few. The gym etiquette here is actually really good.
Yeah.
They're a little clueless, They're a little bit clueless about what's going on, but and sometimes they do silly things and whatever. But they are. You're right. They're very quiet and polite. It's good.
It's like I'm a grunter, but I keep it under wraps because like when you're doing that last rep or whatever. So I'm in the cardio room and like I'm watching this episode and I'm on this fucking thing out of breath and fucking laughing. And I'm trying to kind of keep it down, but nah, fuck it. I'm going to laugh. It's fine. It's clear that I'm wearing something, so I'm listening to something. But I'm just like, I hope I'm not really disturbed. Laughter shouldn't disturb anybody. I'm not psychotically laughing and watching someone exercise. But yeah, watching this first half towards the end of it, it's just, fuck, how could you not, So, in the second half, when like, okay, the first little random roll thing, they get the rabbit and the gem and shit like that. And then Oren hops off and chases after it. That was Liam playing a video game. That was not.
Oh hell yeah! Oh hell yeah!
And then
he didn't want to give it up.
Yeah. And did the fairy happen after the rose? Is that right?
Right at the very end.
Okay, so the rose happened, and then like again, just like they're playing video games again, and then the fairy happened, and it finally got to Fern reacting to it. Because they're like, "Hey, Fern, what about this?" The way she played it off was perfect. I'm like, she's in character. She's like, what is it, a fairy? Fucking go back to bed. It's a
bitches,
fairy.
go back to bed.
They're so common where she comes from, and I'm just like, I forgot how common they were where she comes from. Like, oh, she would know too, because I'm a video gamer, And then she surprised me with she surprised me with staying in character. Well, even though she was sitting there watching everybody do everything, just happy about it.
I know.
And then, it comes to her turn. She's like, oh, it's a fairy. Fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. I got a point about it as well. It was, what a wonderful, wonderful reaction. She's like, she wakes up, fairy, bitches.
I go back to sleep.
I go back to sleep. And then she's like, Ashley got in Fern's head. And Ashley was like, wait, I want to be part of this now too. So then she gets up and she's the first one to get charmed. She's the first one to fail her wisdom saving throw. I'm like, Ashley, you're playing it so well as Fern. Put the brakes on, girl. Go back to bed. It would have made so much more sense, but she got in her own way.
She's the one I would expect, a player that I would expect to least stay in character. And she was like, hey, look at you.
Oh, yeah.
Because the last two campaigns, she's like, I just want to slop some heads off. Can we do that? Like that's Yasha and Ashley.
Hell yeah,
that's Yashley.
Yeah. Well,
that's it for that one.
In that same vein, then, when they had that random effect with the heavy rain and the new rain effect I've got written down here with the thunder and the lightning, when the lightning struck that tree, and then there was the blue flower, the chromatic, which we found out later was a blue chromatic rose with lightning resistance, or it casts a lightning bolt, a lightning cone thing.
Cool little item, having two parts to it.
Very, very cool. Two little ways to use it. Well, single use both ways. But it potentially single use both ways. The way he worded it was that if it damages more than 10 points, it is destroyed. So if the damage, but any fucking lightning damage is going to be worth more than 10 points, guaranteed. So I was like, okay, cool. But lightning bolts are never, unless you're rolling all ones, lightning bolts are never just 10 points of damage. So it's a one-use item, but very cool. An interesting little thing happened on Twitter before I did my second watch, I think over the weekend at some point. And I didn't catch it until the second watch. So I was on Twitter over the weekend and I was like, why is Ashley holding out? She posted a picture of her campaign 2 journal, 2 pages of written down a bunch of the different flowers that Yasha collected over her time. And then some other things were on the other side about different things about the Stormlord. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then on Sunday night, when I was doing my rewatch and I was taking my notes, I'm like, wait a minute. Lightning strikes the tree and leaves a little flower in the middle of the tree. What is that? Where is this the Stormlord doing a thing with Yasha now? Is there a weird, I was like, that's a little suspect. Or did the event just trigger a memory in Ashley's mind? And then so she was compelled to post a picture of her journal based on the flowers that Yasha collected. I don't know. I'm not really sure which way it was.
Say that was one of the flowers in her journal. I was like, come on, that's too on the nose.
not a chromatic rose, but there was definitely a blue. There was a blue petaled flower in there. I don't remember. I remember reading about it. And I'm like, no, there's no roses, but there was a blue one, and there was like a couple of bunch of other flowers that she had collected and where she collected them from. So I was like, oh, maybe it just triggered a memory with Ashley, or maybe it's them genuinely maybe the Stormlord is like, yeah, my champion likes flowers, so I'm going to give a flower out in this fucking jungle. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, someone, I don't remember who, they said, I think it's a gift from the Stormlord. I think it was out of character. I think it was Laura, but I'm not sure.
It was Laura. It was Laura, because I remember she made that comment, and I was like, yeah, I think it was too, because I was thinking the same thing.
Lightning bolt on a tree.
Lightning bolt on a tree.
Of course, it's not just like, and the way Matthew described it, it was supernatural,
Oh, hell
like,
yeah.
and it's like turned over in a weird way, and it comes down like this. That was not natural.
Definitely out of character. Like Imogen would not know about the storm. No, probably not. They wouldn't know about the Stormlord. Stormlord's a fairly minor god, not one of the big five or whatever whatever those are. That's my point.
There's the betrayers, and then there's the
betrayers are the betrayers are the Khazad Doom and the Chained Oblivion, and
what are the initial one's called?
The initial
the first gods, and then the betrayer gods happened, and then
there's Paylor, there's the Morning Lord, there's
don't they have a name for like
Saren,
the first ones?
Sarenrae.
Or am I making this shit up right now? There's got to be
I don't know if I don't think
gods.
they have an actual, like, it's just a pantheon. I don't think those guys have.
You're right. Might be a pantheon.
The prime. Nope.
That's prime material.
No. I'm
Matthew, we know you're watching still. Just tell us what it is.
I have a book over there somewhere. I could go dig it up, but
I'm maybe inferring or assuming that they have a name because there's the betrayer gods, and then there's these ones.
Have the means to look it up.
Shall we do? We're at 56 minutes here. Should we do one more rolling?
Let's do one more rolling and wrap it up. I'm down with that.
Cool. I mean, as long as you're cool with zero
losing, going, getting blanked this fucking week. Yeah, sure.
However many there is.
This will be over 5.
I got a 5.
I got a 17. Last roll of the night. Finally over 10.
One of these days, finally over blow 10. Out. Is that the word? Blow out. I'm gonna blow you out.
Sweep.
Wait, hold on.
Sweep. Okay, sure. I'm going to I was going to use mine as the thing, but let me just give a quick little I wasn't okay. So here's this what I'm going to do. I'm not even going to look at the rest of my notes. I think I do have another one I want to talk about. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Don't convolute yourself, man.
It's all good, man. It's all good. I want to go to when they went to Hexham Manor. They went to go talk to Jenna Hexham about the wager and the whole reason why they're going to the Heartmoor in the first place. And those busts that she had in her entryway, they were right. The little statue things, the heads. She was.
Thank you for that. I didn't realize that was her.
Yeah, that was Jen. Sorry, I'm fucking up your mic over there, and I'm playing a little bit too close.
Oh, that might be what it is. Yeah, I'm turning up. Maybe I shouldn't. Mike,
no, don't. It's all me just going into deep. Yeah. So when that was really fun how they were looking and they're like put their face right up to it, and then they tried to break the app filter, and I love that shit. That made me laugh. But my point is the fact that she's hiring them to go and break in on her compatriot Evan Hytroga, to bypass his securities and get in there and retrieve an item of his choice.
Right.
It's all very very like 1980s heist movie. There's take your pick. There's 1,000 different heist movies out there where they have to break in and steal the thing and whatever, blah blah blah. Had a real that sort of a vibe to it
as well, man.
All kinds of video games. It's a trope. It's a real big trope, which I'm totally fine with. I have no criticism about that. It's cool. And then there's a third party, this mistress Aisha Sabanis, and she'll have her own team. They said blah blah blah. But my point is the wager being 300 gold pieces, or she's going to pay 300 gold pieces for travel. And then each member of the team gets 500 gold pieces if they complete it, and an additional 500 gold pieces if it's particularly humiliating for Evan Hytroga. And all I was thinking of is that half orc from campaign 2 in Gordranas, from campaign 2, who wanted them to particularly humiliate the lieutenant or the captain in the Vermalock when that whole event happens. And she's like, "Oh, tell me more, make it delicious. I want to know all the details." That half orc mage, whatever. I was just like, this is such a cool thing. Like you're throwing extra incentive in and making it, and I'm like, Matt knows, it's very devious. He knows that this is going to particularly entice certain members of the party, Chetney,
I'm thinking
FCG,
about which
Ashton.
ones it's going to be. Yeah,
It's definitely going to be FCG. It's definitely, well, FCG will be the voice of reason, but he'll still do it. Sam's a fucking troll, so Sam's going to get his
Sam will get in there. But FCG will back up whoever's doing it. So, we're 100%. Looking at Firm, Chetney,
and Ashton.
Ashton, yeah.
Yes.
And the rest of them will be like, Laudna's totally down, but she probably wouldn't front it,
She's
I suppose. I don't know.
Secondary. She'll back up or whatever it is. And Orem and Imogen will be the voices of reason.
Yeah.
It's fun. Fun. That's all. I think that's my whole point, that I love that they've got, you go and do this, and then here's some extra incentive to do it better. I think it's clever
for it.
500 double 500 gold.
A double, okay.
And then Fern asked if she could have a bust as well, and Matt was like, make a persuasion check. Yeah.
And the result was, we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
That's my whole point. That's my thing.
Yeah, it's nice little drawback to it. And it's like, Matthew's getting lazy. No, fuck you. Matthew's doing something that fucking worked in the past, and he's going to do it again, and I can't wait for it to happen. And maybe they fail. Who knows? There's a whole other team this time. All right, I'm going to end off with this one then. I watched this a number of times when I think this is actually in the first half. Ashley's, I'm saying Ashley's, not Fern's, "I love you" comment. Or slip. Did you not catch it?
Where was that?
With Estros. Oh wow. Okay.
Oh no, yeah. Okay, sorry. Team Estros. Yeah, when the two fucking 11-year-olds went in to tell. Yep. I caught it too. Yeah,
it was fucking hilarious. Ashley. You were probably still neck deep in laughter at that point, because that was just that whole section was just hilarious.
Man, that, like I told you, at when Sam or when FCG makes that line, I was crying, I was laughing, I couldn't stop. Everything they said, everything everybody said, it was, one of those moments when you start laughing and you can't stop, and it's just nothing. It doesn't matter. You try, and the harder you try to stop laughing, you just can't stop. It makes you laugh even harder. That was me for the whole. I had to stop at the break. I had to walk away. I walked away, and I was like, "Holy crap! I paced my apartment for a couple of minutes just to try and calm down and sort of ease my ribs, because they were aching. And so when Laudna and Fern went into Ashros Manor and were like two little 11-year-olds, and then we saw a thing, and then we threw a thing, and
especially when they said they're like, we're like two 11-year-olds telling a story. That's right home for me. I teach 10-year-olds turning 11.
Jesus,
in a second language.
Just fucking little children just screaming, "Dad, you'll never guess. We threw a rock and it hit the wasp nest, and then we ran and we jumped in the pond."
If Imogen was there, that wouldn't have gone that way. But Laudna and Fern, they are 11-year-old girls.
Oh man,
Laudna's just love for life, and Fern's love for life. I mean, they're in the same fucking page there. And like when Matthew said, like, Estros just kind of like looks over his shoulder at his half-eaten meal. Like, they're not saying anything. They even said, like, "Why did we come here? Okay, so we have to tell you this. We have to tell you this."
Why did we come? Why? Can I have the plate? That whole
right.
Just oh man.
It's like, "I would like my plate, please."
No, it's my plate. You can't have it.
And then, sorry.
Yeah.
He apologized for needing his plate back.
He realized he was dealing with children. He realized at that moment, he's like, oh, okay, right. These are child.
But
They're
he's gonna hear
children
him
too.
out. He's professional.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Just like we do. And it's like, why are you late for class? But
Man.
I went to our, and then. It was
So
so
good.
good.
So good.
So good. Oh, wait, sorry. So my point was.
Yeah, right.
That wasn't Fern. That was Ashley. I looked back. Ashley was waiting for the moment, and she was like, "Okay, bye, love you. I mean, bye." That was not an Ashley flub. That seemed like an Ashley flub, but not this one.
Yeah.
No, she's flubbed in the past. She doesn't know how to
Mm-hmm.
improvise or something like that. She said herself she's not the best at improvising. Ashley, I know you're watching. If you disagree, get in touch. But she was waiting for the moment, and then she's like, "Okay, bye, love you. I mean." By totally Ashley, not Vern. And everybody else, I think, I don't know if they knew, because it's live and they got technology all around them, so they don't know if it's actually, they don't know who it is, if it's Ashley or Fern. I'm pretty sure it was Ashley.
I'm gonna agree with you on that one. I think it was just a cute little thing that she said in the moment that Fern probably wouldn't.
Yeah,
That's
I don't think she planned on it beforehand, but
No.
she's like, you know what, I'm gonna be Fern about this, and I fucking hats off to Ashley for that moment. That was,
sure
fucking hysterical. That first half was hysterical, and we have like no points about it, but the first half, Jesus Christ.
I couldn't take points because even the second time around, I wrote some things down, but I was just laughing too hard. Even the second time I watched, I was giggling the whole time. I was like, wow, the joy. I think part of it was the fact that it was their seventh anniversary. 7-year anniversary. They're super high already. They're all giddy and joyful, and the set's all beautiful and decorated.
They're in theaters in South America.
Absolutely, and they're in theaters, and people are watching, and they're all dressed up. They're not wearing t-shirts and just skivvies. They're sort of they're wearing like nice clothes. So the energy already is quite high. I mean, I think that first half was just that. It was just them being giddy and just having a great fucking time. I think that's all it was. Just and we got to be the beneficiaries of that.
Oh man, come on! I forgot how to ban people. We got our first ban.
Ooh!
Oh, there.
What happened?
It's a bot.
Get out of here! It's probably a Russian bot.
Sure.
Go free
Eduardo
Ukraine!
Savino.
Freedom Ukraine! Yay!
Hey, yeah! Big up to Ukraine.
There is a say, I don't know. My buddy here in Kaohsiung, he's Ukrainian, and he speaks a little bit of Ukrainian, so he knows the actual. Like I can't. My grandfather was Ukrainian. But I don't. He used to curse in Ukrainian. That's all I remember from him. But that's So I've got a little Ukrainian in me, just a little bit.
I forgot 6.
No.
So I can't count to 10 anymore.
6.
And the other words are also Russian words that I know, so that doesn't count.
Isn't Ukrainian and Russian the same thing?
Almost. There are little differences, but a lot of words are the same.
I know.
As far as I know.
Hey, let's wrap this up, bud.
All right, sounds good.
I'm getting
anything to promote yet?
She needs to walk.
Should I just stop asking? At this point, no. That show on the April 16th, that was an idea that kind of fell through, so I got nothing to promote for a bit.
The only thing I got to say is I'm going home. Hey. I'm going back to the motherland on April 15th.
Damn.
So yeah, mom convinced me. Mom, I know you're watching. I know you comment down below, Mom. But she convinced me. I had a long chat with her, and I was like, Mom, I can't do it. I can't. It's her big birthday party. It's a big reunion at the end of April. And I was like, Mom, I can't do it. And she just was like, no, you're coming. This is how we're going to make it happen. And I'm like, all right, fine. So I've worked out all the plans, bought my ticket last week. I'm doing it. I'm fingers crossed the quarantine restrictions to come. There's no quarantine restrictions to go to Canada. None. I'm double vaccinated, so it's all good. There are, and even if I wasn't, it'd still be pretty easy to do. But coming back here is going to be a little bit of a problem. Although, as it stands right, they are, and as it stands right now, I don't have to do quarantine hotel. I can do the first 10 days at home. Yeah, because I live alone. It means I have to stay home and I can't leave, and that's going to suck. But whatever, it's way better than being stuck in a box. At least people are going to be able to leave things for me. They'll be able to make deliveries for me and stuff. So that, and I got a big kitchen I can cook. So I'm stoked about that. Now, hopefully, knock on wood, that all stays the same. So yeah. Anyway,
Maybe.
that's all I got to say. I'll be gone for 3 weeks, and then I'll be coming back on May 7th, and then do my 10 days of quarantine, and then a week of self-care. They call it, whatever the fuck that means.
whatever words they want to self-care hide behind it. I mean, aren't we all self-caring? Self-caring.
We should be.
That's a terrible way to put it.
Mm.
All right. Then yeah, I got nothing to note. If that's it,
okay.
Sign off
Cool.
time.
Yeah, man.
All right, cool.
Let's do it.
Hey, everybody, thanks for checking us out. Thanks for being here with us. If you want to get in touch down there. All the links and shit are down there. And don't forget to love each other. And is it finally Friday?
Embrace the natural ones.
Did you just roll that?
No, I'm just embrace natural ones.
Oh, yeah. The no ones are the best.
Mm-hmm.